bar's got that swing. Glasses clink, hear the ice cubes sing. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worries slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. There's Troy laughing with his gin and a grin, telling stories about where he's been. Boomer's got whiskey, he's loosening his tie, chasing dreams under a midday sky. The bartender knows us, he's mixing with flair. Every sip's a moment we're happy to share. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worries slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for the day. The clock don't matter, we're lost in the vibe. Jazz in the air, feel the soul come alive. From martinis to bourbon, we're riding the wave. Stealing this hour, it's the freedom we crave. The sun's still shining, but we're in our zone. This bar's our shelter, our temporary home. One more round before the world calls us back. Savor the moment, keep the blues in the rack. We'll laugh and we'll toast till the afternoon fades. Memories made in these liquid escapades. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worries slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun. Our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon. Chasing that jazz under the high noon.
Salute and welcome. So good to see all of you on this fine, thankful Thursday. Yes, I think there's always something to be thankful for. And we'll get into what I want to focus on today, which I think is going to apply to many of us here today. But of course, as always on a Thursday, I want to start by being thankful for all of you here in the chat, because as we say here all the time, this show would not exist without you. So for that, I'm thankful. Starting with Big Al of Big Al Presents, who says, Happy Thankful Thursday, Liquid Lunchers. Wishing you a great stream, my friend. Well, thank you so much. Salute. ussarn stops in to say hi. Thank you so much for being here, sir. Mark Melnikov says, Mechpo. Thankful for streamers like this that keep us connected, especially now. Yeah, especially for you. It's got to be nice to have a medium like the streaming platforms where you don't necessarily have to be here live to enjoy the show. Mark is going to be doing a long stretch of evenings and probably not able to join us for a lot of the live streams, but we know you're there in spirit, my friend. And thank you for everything you do contributing to the workforce, insane as it may be. This is wrong Jay. This is Jonathan Conroy. Welcome, my friend. He says, hey, I'll all smash the like button and enjoy the show. I think especially on Thursday, I hope that you enjoy the show as I focus on something a little positive, a little glimmer of hope, I think. Netter of Netters Network stops in to call me the love of her life. She is the love of mine, so salute to you, my dear. And good afternoon to you as well, Jonathan. Thank you so much for being here. Yes, Netter is in a meeting, but I know that one of the things she's thankful for is a light at the end of the tunnel in a work project she's got. So God bless right there. She also says like, share, subscribe, become a member, leave a comment, and gift a membership. Now more than ever, my friends. Things are changing on the platform. We're not sure how that's going to look, but right now your support will make or break this channel. It really, really will. Let's see. Well, that is nice to get a day in the fresh air. Yeah, absolutely. If you can, you got to. Matanui says, hi. Welcome, Matanui. Good to see you. Geek Flag with Nate No says, like, share, subscribe, comment, and become a member. Of course, being a member grants you access to the Monday night at the movies with the members. I change the title every single time I say it. With no extra charge. You can't beat that with a stick. Get the stick, get the stick, get the stick. And I think we're caught up. So let's jump into this. This article will actually represent the preamble, so don't think I'm just jumping in cold. Let's go ahead and share that. Add that to the screen. And this is, it comes from Politico. It's going to be a little bit political, but it's politics light. I am not going, I try not to get super hyper political on the channel, but let's face it, it is impossible to not talk about politics if you're going to talk about pop culture, if you're going to talk about our lives, things that are happening that affect us. I'm sorry, but politics does affect you, even if you ignore it. It really, really does. And welcome, Real Wade Nation Gaming Clips. Good to see you, my friend. Make sure you're following him for all the, gaming clips and playthroughs and all the standalone content that he is putting out on a regular basis. He's also probably the best YouTuber that I know of for marketing his merch store. Yes, I have a merch store too, and you've never heard me talk about it or tell you where you can get this stuff from. Netter and I are still working on that, but we're way behind in getting that together. And but this guy here, he knows how to market his merch. So go check it out. And he says he's thankful for me as an internet friend. I super appreciate that, my friend. Yeah, and I've never sold much. Well, I'll tell you, this is kind of how marketing works. I remember working for a direct marketing company. And the statistics they quoted is if you are able to secure one lead out of 1,000 attempts, that's actually considered phenomenal. It's the law of large numbers. So, there you go. JoesAtmosfere, who I'll be hanging out with later on today on Pop Culture Archivists, stops in to say hi to all the midday mixologists. Thank you, my friend. Yes, just a reminder that I will be chauffeuring all of you over to Pop Culture Archivist as soon as this stream ends, so don't go anywhere at the end of this stream. But let's go ahead and get into it. So from Politico, under pressure from Jim Jordan, YouTube lets suspended accounts return. I have seen a spattering of what to me appeared to be new YouTube channels in my stream. Come to find out that they are just replaced old channels that have been gone for the past 5 years. and picked up a few of them. Started subscribing to them when I saw them on X saying, "Hey, I'm back," and I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know you were gone. I didn't know you existed, but you look like a channel I'd be interested in, so I'm going to check you out." Let's get into this. In a letter, Alphabet acknowledges unacceptable and wrong pressure on content moderation. No, you don't say. Let's look at it a little closer. All YouTube accounts suspended over content concerning topics like COVID-19 pandemic and election integrity will be given an opportunity to return to the platform. Its parent company Alphabet said Tuesday in a letter to Rep. Jim Jordan, representative of Ohio, or a Republican from Ohio. Well, he is a representative, but okay. Let me break this down. I haven't read the article in full, so I may be getting ahead of the article, but I'm going to give you a little bit of insight here. This thing about an opportunity to return. Initially, that sounds pretty ominous. Like, oh yeah, an opportunity, but it's not going to really happen. Well, it's actually kind of the opposite. They're not just flipping a switch and turning on everybody's accounts. There's logistics in that, right? If you are the YouTuber whose YouTube channel has been shut down for the past 4 or 5 years, right? And then one day it's active again and you don't know about it, because why would you be going back to your dead that you can't even access? Suddenly it's accessible, but you don't know it, right? And, the first indication you're going to get is when somebody leaves a comment on one of your videos or something, and you go, how are they even accessing that video? Wait, my videos, or my account is back, right? So they have to institute something that says, hey, I don't know what the wording on the letter is, but it's got to be something like, look, your thing was taken down for a content violation, which may have been erroneous. Would you like to contest it? Because in recontesting it, that gives them the opportunity to know, yes, you do intend for wanting to get your channel back and continue using it. So then they can come back and say, okay, we've reviewed it. Here you go. Good luck. It's BS. It's underhanded. It still sucks. But let's read on. In addition, Alphabet. Oh, and by the way, Alphabet, they're the parent company over YouTube, over Google. In addition, Alphabet told Jordan that repeated and sustained outreach from senior officials within President Joe Biden's administration to remove content related to COVID that did not violate its policies was unacceptable and wrong. You don't say. Because we were saying that too at the time. There was no policy violations. There was nothing in their TOS that said you can't talk about any of those public interest matters before. And then they started tacking it on. You can't talk about COVID. You can't talk about anything that could be construed as health advice, etc., etc., etc. Now they're saying, whether it's true or not, whether they were complicit, whether they were eager for it, they were doing it at the behest of the government, like we said. And you know what? I know people have been talking about this recently, the difference between government shutting down speech as opposed to private entities shutting down speech. And I remember the argument at the time was, well, YouTube can do whatever they want. It's their platform. And everyone that was getting shut down was saying, not if it's not of their own volition, not if they're doing it because they're being forced to by the government. Yeah, it's like It's like people are coming out and making those kinds of protestations about other private companies suspending shows and then trying to blame the administration for it. Anyway. In addition, Alphabet told George, the repeated and sustained outreach from the President Joe Biden. In other words, we're going to start putting pressure on you if you don't do this. Gee, I wonder why. Why could that be? The letter came in response to subpoenas issued by Jordan to the company on February 15th, March 6th, seeking a trove of information about its communication with Biden administration. Now, as you can see, we're starting to get into, as far as this article will give us, the rest of it's behind a paywall. But you know what's not behind a paywall? Because it's public information, is that letter they were just referring to. We don't need the article because we can go to the primary source. Isn't that nice? So King & Spalding, they are the law firm that represent the company Alphabet. This is a letter and this is just standard operating procedure. When there's a compliance thing happening, you address it to the chairman of the committee, who in this case is Jim Jordan. Can this be closed? Because this is taking up valuable resource that I don't need. There we go. Okay. Dear Chairman Jordan, this statement of fact is submitted on... Oh, and the link to this letter, down in the description below, so you can check it out for yourself. This is a public document. This statement of fact is submitted on behalf of our client Alphabet Incorporated and its subsidiary YouTube, collectively Alphabet or the company, in response to subpoena issued by the House Committee on the Judiciary, the committee, on February 15th, 2023 and March 6th, 2025. It's taken that long. It's actually taken longer, but that's another thing. Throughout the committee's investigations, Alphabet provided responsive information to the committee to fulfill its oversight responsibilities, producing initial records and providing intensive testimony, including more than 40 sets of responsive documents and voluntary participation of 20 executives in transcribed interviews. Alphabet is a collection of businesses. We know it's Google and it's YouTube. The company is committed to doing its part to continue to keep the digital ecosystem safe, reliable, and open to free expression. Translation: we are eager to do whatever we have to do to stay in compliance with the federal government so that we can continue to do our business. Oh, thank you so much. Pops from Pops on Pop Culture, who is a wonderful, wonderful supporter of the channel. He is such good people. Make sure that you're following him because he's like an older brother in the pop culture sphere to me. And he has just gifted a gift membership to Sci-Fi Mambi. Gift memberships are always so appreciated. It's a great way to support the channel and to potentially grow the community. And if you enjoy being a part of this community, you want to share that with other people because that just makes the community that much more fun. Thank you so much, Pops. Super appreciate that. So what was I was translating a little legalese here. The company is committed to doing its part. Yeah. They're committed to do whatever the current administration wants so that they can continue to be in business. It just so happens we are just fortunate that the current administration actually wants them to comply with the law, and isn't trying to strong arm them into doing something duplicitous like a previous administration might have done. But are trying to do what the administration is supposed to do and strong arm them into complying with the law. Imagine that. Imagine that. The committee in its investigation It gives you a summation of, and it talks about transparency and blah, 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 and this and that. COVID-19 the Biden administration and Alphabet. Okay. The COVID-19 pandemic was an unprecedented time in which, no, it really wasn't. It really wasn't. We've seen it before. History doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. You know, it's not too dissimilar from when we went through the Spanish flu pandemic. Apparently, we didn't learn anything from it because we made all of the same mistakes all over again. Because if you don't learn from history, you are destined to repeat it. In which online platforms had to reach decisions about how best to balance freedom of expression with responsibility. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. You were protected from even having a responsibility to what people were putting out there. As long as it wasn't illegal, as long as it wasn't people being predatory on little pudding people, right? You know, or inciting violence. Inciting violence is illegal, folks. That's not protected speech. Just a reminder to all the platforms right now. TikTok. Yeah, you don't have to walk a tightrope. There are laws that are protecting you, but you choose to do that. You choose to be both editorial and platform. And that is not legal, or it shouldn't be under this law. Including responsibility with respect to the moderation of users-generated content that could result in real-world harm. No. Incite to violence? Yes. Expressing questions and doubts about science? No. You are not the arbiter of that science, YouTube, Google, Alphabet. You're pushing an agenda. That is a very, very different thing. But this is, of course, something they feel they have to say to try to give themselves some sort of cover. Senior Biden administration officials, including White House officials, conducted repeated and sustained outreach. Okay, I'm going to summarize this. I know exactly where they're going with this. We were told by the Biden administration that this is the science, and this had to be protected. If that was wrong, that's on them. That wasn't on us. That's what they're saying now. YouTube's mission is to give everyone a voice. I'm going to stop you right there. We all know that hasn't been what they've been doing. You can state it all you want. That doesn't make it true. I'm sorry, I can't hear what you're saying. Your actions speak too loudly. Every day, YouTube builds and improves tools and systems that empower creators, viewers, and business to find and share information. To some degree, that's kind of true. Let's face it, it's still the best platform. I think you have a great deal more freedom on Rumble, but it certainly doesn't give you the reach that YouTube does. It just doesn't. We can complain about shadow banning and the algorithm on YouTube, but at least there is an algorithm that suggests videos out. I've had people come to me, and when I ask them, hey, you know, I've seen you in the chat, you know, for the past month or so. How did you find my channel? Oh, it was suggested to me by YouTube. So it does happen, right? It does not happen on Rumble. That isn't there. If you don't go and follow a specific content creator, know about them outside of Rumble to go follow them, Rumble will never put their videos on your front page, ever. Because there is no algorithm going, well, if he likes this, maybe he's going to like that. Anyway, be that as it may. Over 2 billion logged in users worldwide visit each month. Okay, so this is where they pump themselves up and say how important they are. There is a wider variety of views on the YouTube platform than on any other information source in history. That's probably true. They are the biggest platform for videos, which makes them by default one of the biggest platforms for dissemination of information. Most media outlets are starting to turn to YouTube. Most entertainment outlets are starting to turn, and those are just the big companies. We're not even talking about individuals yet. YouTube creates new economic opportunities. We're going to get to that after the break. YouTube's creative ecosystem supported more than 490. Okay, this is all, self-promotion. YouTube content moderation approach and commitment to free expression. I don't think I can even stomach going through this line by line, but you absolutely can. The link is down below. You can read this bit by bit, but they're going to walk you through the COVID, what they did, what they were told to do, what they felt they had to do, whether they did or not. No matter the political atmosphere, well, it was all about the political atmosphere, let's be honest. The regulatory landscape, this could be very interesting, and this could actually be a whole separate video, so I'm not going to dig too much into it right now. And then, of course, in providing this information, the company does not waive, nor does it intend to waive, any of its rights or privileges, including any applicable attorney-client. Basically, they're also indirectly saying we're not confessing to any wrongdoing or anything like that, and we are not waiving our rights to defend ourselves in court if you claim that we have, etc., etc. But what does this overall mean? Let me go back to the beginning because, it's the title. What overall does this mean? Like I said, you saw a lot of channels that were shut down for political speech, basically, being returned. And I was in the middle of a Bourbon with Barnes viewer, not guest, just viewer. As he was talking about this, and he was saying, this is all wonderful and great, but it doesn't mean anything unless they've allowed Alex Jones back on. When they let Alex Jones back on, then we know that they're serious. And one of the people commenting said they did. Alex Jones is back on YouTube. Now, I don't know if that's true because I have not, since last night, had an opportunity to confirm that myself. I had to get things ready for my own show and shows coming up this week, so I haven't had the opportunity. I'd love it if one of you guys in the chat, if you're so inclined, can check and see if Alex Jones is back on YouTube. And here's a perfect opportunity because I'm going to go ahead and run those promos. We've got something else to look at right after. See you in about a little less than 3 minutes.
You are watching Liquid Lunch, streaming every weekday at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. Let's sip together.
This Thursday night, it's getting a bit spooky around Netter's network as she sits down with a mysterious YouTuber you may or may not know. Netter will be discussing personal experiences with ghosts and hauntings with I Am the 13th Child this Thursday night at 9 Central, 10 Eastern on Netter's network.
This week on Saturday Night at the Movies, Jackie Gleason befriends Nicole, the little daughter of a prostitute, in this poignant comedy, and shows his considerable talents as an actor without uttering a word as he plays the bumbling, kind-hearted janitor, Jigo, on Netter's Network Retro Cinema this Saturday night at 9 Central, 10 Eastern.
In a world where nearly all the entertainment is remakes, reboots, and rehashes of older properties, maybe it's worth it to get some commentary from people who experienced it all when it was novel and fresh. Catch Boomer and Pacelli on Geeky Geezers every Sunday night at 8 Central, 9 Eastern.
This week on Live from Sparkwood and 21, the Superfans will be presenting and discussing the second half of Dynamic 1. Featuring a thought-provoking hour of original footage previously only accessible from David Lynch's paid subscription website, giving us a glimpse of what was going on inside the creative mind of the indefatigable director. This anthology is composed of hand-picked short films, each with an introduction by Lynch, and a 20-minute segment with the director answering various questions from members of his website. Join us this Tuesday at 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern on Deleted Scenes and Affiliates.
Belden crystals, the most powerful energy source in the galaxy, only found on the planet Mecron. One man alone supervises the mining there for the Federation, Belkov, the master game player. The temptation proved too much for Avon, and now, to stand a chance of surviving at all, Scorpio's crew must play along with Belkov's games. This Tuesday on Last Call Presents, Blake's 7 at 10 p.m. Central, 11 Eastern.
We now return to our liquid lunch.
Nate points out that if you don't F with politics, politics will F with you. That's absolutely true. Mark asks, are we tired of winning yet? I believe I believe it's why some are going nuts. Yeah, exactly. I've thought about politics show and then realized there's too many channels. I don't think there are too many channels. I think everyone has a niche, even within a big pond. It's worth it. I'm too small a fish in too big a pond to feel comfortable really sticking my neck that far out yet. But maybe one day. I admire, for example, Culture Casino. He's doing so well with his a number of channels that he's decided to start a political one. So I admire him a great deal for that. I know a couple of people who were shut down or demonetized for ridiculous reasons. I'm not sure they want to come back because it is hard work. I'm glad that you recognize that. It is hard work. What I do... what I do is a lot of work. I really am a one-man show here. And this is why if I had hair, I would pull it out because I constantly see, things like typos and things like that. And it's like, oh, I wish I had a proofreader. I wish I had an editor. I wish I had I wish I could afford to pay people, to have a whole staff, but I don't. To build a channel, so it was a real slapdown to lose your hard work, all their hard work. Yes, you're absolutely right about that. I trounced someone last night over the First Amendment, free speech, and social media. Common sense and responsibilities come with free speech, as like with everything else, there is consequence for decisions made. Yeah, this is the problem people have. People think that because they have freedoms, they have no responsibility. The two go hand in hand, and we live in an era where people don't practice personal responsibility. It is anathema to them. Yes, I was right. Of course I was. The pandemic was less of a pandemic than they wanted us to believe. Yes, it was a plandemic. Yeah, you're right about inciting violence not being covered under free speech. However, YouTube allows plenty of... Yes, that's the other problem, right? What's legal and what isn't, and inequitable use of their deplatforming power, right? We don't like that speech, so we're going to eliminate that. But this one we agree with, so we'll just look the other way until someone complains about it. Andy Masterson, the talented one. Good to see you, my friend. Looking forward to hanging out with you again real soon. He says, spooky. Yeah, looking forward to Netter's Network tonight. And thank you. Big Al comes in to confirm, yes, Alex Jones is back. But I meant specifically, is he back on YouTube? I know Alex Jones has been running his own platform since he was deplatformed. And I've actually heard, what's his name? Dave Cullen on YouTube has been doing for a long time now a pop culture channel. He used to have a political channel that got demonetized, or maybe it was completely taken. No, it was completely taken down by YouTube, and it just recently came back. And he is debating whether or not he wants to continue doing anything with that channel. So that's one example of what we're talking about. But yeah, I was wondering if Alex Jones is back on YouTube as well. And even if, even if he's not, I wonder if he was given the opportunity. That's what I'm really looking for. Still waiting for that to happen. Yes, on YouTube. Okay. So there you go. Now, I will point out that Alex Jones has been back on X for well over a year now. So not all platforms are created equal. Oh, I misunderstood you. You were saying that was because I know that Alex Jones has his own platform that he's been putting videos out on. I didn't realize you were talking about that as the address for the YouTube channel. Well, if you're interested, follow Alex Jones on YouTube as well. So there you go. Let me get back to the presentation, because I was going to talk about something that came up that YouTube brings up in their letter to Jim Jordan, talking about financial opportunities for creators. And I think everyone here, even if you don't have a channel, you basically know how it works. We get, like 3 cents a stream or something like that for ad revenue. Woo! I can retire on that, right? But the real money comes in from gifted memberships, super chats, super thanks, stuff like that. Basically, at the risk of sounding like PBS, from contributions from viewers like you. Well, interestingly, during the presidential election, Donald Trump ran on, among other promises he made, one was that he was going to do away with income tax on tips. And this was so popular that even Kamala Harris decided that she was going to do that if she was elected. In other words, don't just vote for him if that's the reason, because I'm going to do that too. Whether or not it would or would not have happened is, a matter of speculation that we'll never know the answer to, because it didn't happen. But what we do know is that at least some form of that promise was kept in the signing of the big, beautiful bill. And we now have, the IRS comes out and starts outlining it. So this document that I'm about to show you is linked below. Those of you that are YouTubers might definitely want to bring this with you to your accountant. Keep in mind, nothing I am providing here in and of itself constitutes financial advice. I'm giving you the resource. We're going to look at that resource. I'm going to tell you what my belief and interpretation is about it, but I am still taking this document to my accountant to make sure if what I'm suspecting is true. But it sounds to me like tips. Well, let's look at the document, okay, and see if you get the same thing out of it that I am. So occupations that customarily and regularly receive tips on or before December 31st, 2024. In other words, this is outlining these are the types of jobs that would qualify for their tips, their gratuities, to be tax exempt. Okay? Set forth below is a preliminary list of occupations that customarily and regularly receive tips on or before December 31st, 2024 for the purposes of the no tax on tips provision of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. That is its official name, by the way. That's not just, what people are calling it. The official proposed list of such occupations will be published in the Federal Register as part of the forthcoming proposed regulations for the Treasury Department and the IRS Treasury. And the IRS anticipate that the official proposed list will be substantially the same as this preliminary list. So keep that in mind, right? This is a preliminary list. It may change, but it's probably going to be pretty much this, right? Public comments will be requested on the official proposed list of occupations that are accepted and other aspects of the proposed regulation. In addition to requiring that qualified tips must be received in an occupation that customarily and regularly received tips on or before December 31st, 2004. This is their way of saying, look, the industry has standards of who is considered to receive tips. If you are suddenly getting, cash donations in an industry that never really did before, we're not counting that. If it becomes customary going forward, maybe. Provides that the tips do not qualify for the deduction if they are received in the course of certain specified trades or businesses, including the fields of health, performing arts, and athletics. I'm going to be interested in that performing arts one because there are some specifically in this list that are mentioned as being a kind of performing arts. Treasury and IRS anticipates issuing additional guidance on the types of occupation. Okay, so let's start looking at some of these because some of these are obvious. Bartenders. You should tip your bartender. You should always tip your bartender. Wait staff, food servers, non-restaurant. I honestly believe that most of these should really be receiving an, in quotes, living wage from the company that they work for. You're already paying so much for your food. You're paying for that service. They should be well compensated. But it does give you an opportunity to show gratitude for the people providing service, which is becoming less and less common these days. Dining room and cafeteria attendants, chef and cooks, a lot of food preparation, bakers, hosts. Gambling dealers. Yes, absolutely. Hey, I'm a big winner. Hey, this is for you, Gambling change persons. Hey, thank you for cashing me out. Here's something for you. Yeah, exactly. Gambling cage workers, all the people in the gambling industry. Dancers. Entertainers and performers. What kind of dancers are we talking about? We already know that there is a very infamous tax case of a female exotic dancer who was able to deduct the medical costs of her torso enhancement surgery because she was able to demonstrate it was necessary to her taxable income as an exotic dancer. I wouldn't be surprised if the tips that they receive directly from their patrons are now considered this kind of tip. But let's get to the one that we are interested in. Did I bypass it? Yes. 209. Code 272099. Digital content creators. Produce and publish on digital platforms original entertainment or personality-driven content. They're not qualifying the personality. They're just saying it is a personality. Such as live streamers, short-form videos, or podcasts. Guys, that's YouTubers. So that tells me that the bulk of what YouTubers make and rely on, which is the super chats, the super thanks, the memberships, all of the contributions from viewers like you, those constitute tips for the purpose of I don't have to pay taxes on those. Now, keep in mind that YouTube is still taking a third of it every time you give a super chat or whatever, but that's YouTube, right? Just like this doesn't change the fact that if you work as a waitress and the waitresses all pool their tips and the management keeps a percentage of it or something like that's between you and the employer, right? This is the federal government and your taxes. Now again, this is my interpretation of what this is saying. So double check that with your accountant before you file your taxes. Don't just say, well, Troy said I don't have to pay taxes on the... that's going to hold up real well in court. Just saying. And I just realized I wasn't sharing this all this time. My apologies. Real quick, I'll just go back to this. I was looking at this document from occupations that customarily and regularly receive tips on or before December 31st, 2024. Again, it's linked below. You can download it, you can print it out. This is a public document. So go check that out for yourself. I always say, trust but verify. That includes me. You can trust me, but verify, because I am prone to making mistakes myself. As a DoorDash driver, I don't expect tips. It's nice when I get them, but I'm not entitled to them. I wish more people in those kinds of industries felt that way, because you hear too many times they say, well, I work for tips. That is no way to budget, right? When you can't count on a salary to budget based on, you're right. You might make nothing, or you might get one generous person once. You never know. Let's see. Well, that's a good point, Matanui. DoorDash forces you to tip. They add it as a line item, and you don't really have a choice in the matter. Whether or not the DoorDash driver receives it, that's between them and DoorDash. It also is why people are unincentivized to give an actual tip to the driver, because they say, "Well, I already gave a tip on the on the app when I paid for it." But that's also why when I order a pizza and I have it delivered, I always ask them, "Did you get the tip?" And they go, "Yes, I did. Thank you very much." Okay, I want to make sure that the tip I gave to Rosati's, this is not a sponsorship, but I do happen to really like Rosati's of Streamwood, which is just a quarter mile away from me. Yeah, I know I'm a lazy son of a bitch for having somebody deliver it to me from right around the corner, but convenience. And that's why I tip, because I think they deserve it. Hopefully what they're doing is coming around the corner, dropping off my pizza before they go take 2, 3, 4 others, which is very convenient for them. I know, because I used to deliver pizzas too. Then it may not be a tip, but a fee. However, I'm not finished with nor is anything finalized. Yeah. There you go. Membership is likely not a tip, but a fee. However, super chats, well, there is no way that the IRS is going to be able to break that down unless YouTube does. If YouTube separates it out when they send me my tax forms at the end of the year, they would actually have to say, well, these are memberships, these are super chats, and separate them, and then I'd probably be getting 2 different tax forms. If that doesn't happen, it's all going to be considered tips. I will say there is one time I'm actually glad to see a rainbow flag or blue dyed hair. It usually means I'm getting a really good tip. Well, there you go. That's nice. Good. Cult of personality? Okay. That's possible. I understand that. And Leia Plus Size says, afternoon all. I try to tip for all my services. I use in restaurants, food and grocery services. They all do a good job. Yeah. So this comes very much from my upbringing. Obviously, middle class. My dad was a barber, so he worked for tips in a lot of ways. And Italian family, right? I believe in tipping. I believe in over tipping. You tip generously. Why? Because that server will remember the big tip. Oh, there's that big tipper. Oh, I'm glad he's here. Oh, I hope he's in my section. Can I get him in my section again? And you're going to receive premier service. They're going to go above and beyond for you because they felt you went above and beyond for them in the tip. By the same token, if I get mediocre or poor service, you're going to get little or no tip from me. Just saying. You get what you invest, right? Something you might want to talk to your tax professional about is that you may be advantaged by paying taxes on your tips because you may get more No, this is where I'm going to get, this is personal opinion. This is not considered financial advice. Take it for what it's worth, but I'm going to outline why I do this. Think this through for a second. You overpay on your taxes so that the government can sit on your money all year and then give it back to you if you've overpaid. If you had that money yourself in an interest-bearing account, you would have more money. So I would rather have zero withholdings, ever receive nothing back from the government, have to pay it myself, but I put the money aside myself into an interest-bearing account. I write a check to the IRS, and I have a little bonus from the interest of that money that I sat on all year. If you don't have the discipline to do that yourself, then you are actually losing money with that plan. Give more money to Uncle Sam for them to sit on and then apportion back to you your own money at the end of the year. You're not getting something free from the government when you get a tax return. That was you overpaying money you could have been investing yourself all year. Just remember that. I do not tip when I go to a restaurant and pick up my food. If I sit down to eat and I'm being served, I will tip. I'm not tipping for a pickup. Oh, absolutely. No, I get that. Yeah. You tip if they bring you the food, whether it's to your house or to your table, right? Because they are providing a service, right? If I got to go get it myself, I would say they should tip me, but the reality is they don't charge you a delivery fee. So that's kind of like your tip, I guess. I did that in the past. Now I don't. My money is my money, and I do whatever I want. That makes absolute sense. Yep, exactly right. Exactly right. Yes, you should always redo your W-4 so that you don't overpay. But again, what you're doing is you're paying for something in advance. You could be sitting on that money yourself because you don't owe it until tax day. That's the due date for that payment. You could, instead of paying it to the government by a withholding from your paycheck, you could be depositing it yourself into a savings account and accruing interest on it. But by all means, you do you, whatever's easiest for you. I'm just saying you're losing money when you're giving money to the government that you don't owe yet. And that, my friends, is me running late because I do need to get us all over to Pop Culture Archivists, which should be starting in about 4 minutes, but in reality, we'll probably be starting in about 34 minutes. We'll see. But I do hope you'll join me over there, because when I bring my people over and they are saying hi to me in the chat, it makes me feel good, and it shows the Pop Culture Archivists that I'm a worthwhile guest to have on their channel. So, guys, I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me. I am thankful that we have something to look forward to, a positive change in the platform and possibly in the tax structure related to the money that we make here on YouTube. Remember, together we grow. That's why I bring this information to all of you who are YouTubers, and all of you that are not YouTubers with a channel but are here just to support. You guys are part of the team too, so I want to thank every single one of you. Let's get on over to Pop Culture Archivists. Salute.
Goodbye. Hope to see you again real soon.
So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun, our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon, chasing that jazz under the high noon.